What's up guys, I'm Jason, this is Freebird Garage, and we are part 6 of the FXRT build. And we are finishing hopefully up the main wiring harness that goes on the actual OG FXRT fairing, and hopefully get this thing a little more buttoned up to where we are at least got everything figured out on the front end for the most part. So got some soldering we got to finish up with because I finally got some parts that I've been waiting for to finally come in, snagged them, tracked them. Let's get to it. So this is the wiring harness for the fairing itself. In the last video I took it apart off the bike, separated it so we can clean up the wiring because the turn signals were not correct to the FXRT or FXRT fairing. They are rigged up to run this turn signal bullet style FXRS on the handlebars. So went ahead and corrected that, have the original styling turn signals that are nice and soldered, connected. Now we're going to go in and get the headlight corrected on here. I have a plug that's going to replace these open-ended wires. They actually cut off the old one and just had these rigged on the headlight, which is normally like on the drop-down headlight, not the actual mounted one. So we're gonna fix it up. So that's what we're gonna do now. I have this wire here is our main, looks like ground here, and then our two power as such right there. So we're gonna solder this up right here. We're gonna finish this soldering that they had. So that's still good. And then heat shrink it, clean it up, and then get it to connect back onto here and get rolling. So start off with that, easy part. Alright, setting up our plug for the headlight. We're gonna roll off of our ground here. Start off with that, get ourselves some freed up copper. We already got these open, they look good, so we're solid on those. Wide open for the 3. We're gonna cut our new plug in here, cut them all to length, got them all spliced here. Spliced, now we can start soldering them up, going by the service manual. The headlamp, yellow is gonna be the middle, black on the right, and white on the left. So we're gonna keep to that direction the best we can. Throw these on, and before we do, make sure we got our heat shrink pushed all the way back so we can get it ready for getting it on there. I really want the plug to look factory, so I'm gonna roll this big piece back, and we can heat shrink over the other heat shrinks once it's all finished and make it look like a factory plug. But preemptively think of all this stuff because as soon as you start to heat shrink and solder and all that, then it's already too late to get the sleeves over. So we're gonna throw this on here. See if we can't start soldering this up now. Looks good, everything's snugged, feels tight. Now we just gotta heat shrink. We're good to go. Plug all rewired and put back together, looks fantastic. Heat shrink just makes it look 100% better than having a bunch of dangling wires put back together. So all we gotta do is test it. And these two plugs are tach and speedometer. Obviously this is a headlight. And in order to get these work, you have to find the original FXRT fairing modular piece that sits in the dash. And I have one here, so let's open it up and check it out. All right, finally was able to track one of these down. This is the FXRT dash tach and speedometer combo with the lights, the plugs, everything intact as far as what the picture shows. I had to get on eBay because no one else wants to give up their piece of their fairing, or if they have one, they're just waiting to build their own fairing. Essentially, if you remove this, you're removing one of the biggest parts of the fairing to be able to, you know, have it worked with your harness. So let's check this out. Hopefully it's all intact and one. There we go. A little beat up on the back, which you did see that online, so I'm not too worried about it. That's just the back facing of it. And that can all be cleaned up by taking it apart, but that's awesome. All together, one piece, oil, neutral, and high beams that are on here. Full wiring in the back. These plugs run these plugs. So let's get this on the bike and plug this in see if it works. I also have new bulbs for the turn signals because last time I had a burnt out one and the only one was in there. Let's check it out. Plug in our main wiring harness back in, just like last one. Okay, good there. Plug in our new turn signals. There we go. All right, I'll set up our new ones there. Let's get our cluster plugged in now. Got our dash, 2 turn signals, and the original style 7-inch headlight with our new plug. If all goes well, everything should turn on, of course. So we got that plugged in. Let's check it out. Haha, all right. Working headlight and 2 turn signals. Hard to see, but the dash is lit up, looks like. And let's check them out. Let's see the turn signals. It's working. That side to that side, flasher. And to see if I wire this correctly, we still have high beams and low beams. All right, and our high beam. And the biggest indication, hard to see it on there, is that this little bulb in the dash is lit up, so we're good to rock. That's awesome. The only thing I do know is that the turn signals, as you can see, have to be held down. The backs are not turning on. So that actually means we have a balance issue. And I haven't gotten into the control board side, so that's what we're gonna dive into next. See if we can track this down, but headlights on, we're good. We have, obviously, our dash is all lit up, working correctly. We're good there. Turn signals are technically wired correctly. We just gotta figure out that part and we're good to rock to start putting this fairing together. So let's see if we can figure out that balance issue and go from there. Well, this is the perfect time to get into the side of the turn signal module because there's some zip ties back here. I know there's some weird wiring, I believe, going on to this, the main control board and everything. So we're gonna check it out, see, hopefully we don't have too much of a mess and get it fixed. This fuse holder, pretty sure this goes to those fog lights that have like wreaked havoc through this bike. And when this bike was originally sold to me, they were disconnected because they were draining. I just assumed they hooked them up for direct power, but it seems like someone went in and just got this thing all connected to it now. Wonderful. So it looks like the main plugs are all hardwired into it, which is not what I was looking forward to. All right, so let me see what we're gonna do for this. See if we can't just cut it out, but I'm pretty sure this could be the culprit of why the turn signals don't wanna turn off and essentially only be ran when I'm pushing onto them. I remembered I had my old turn signal module from my other bike still hanging around, so I hold on to my old parts just to match up to see, and it's nothing's the same. So I still need to remove on the other side all this wiring, so let's hop to that side, get rid of that wiring, see how much farther we can get. Looking the bike over, one, this wiring harness was never properly put on top. There's tape holding it, and everything else is kind of just hanging there. So we're gonna get this cleaned up and hopefully get ourselves, find out where it led to on the other side. I have no idea. All of our wires are now pulled through. We're gonna remove this makeshift module, which I believe definitely an aftermarket one. The JD in front of it, I know for sure is aftermarket. See where that takes us. All right, we are free of this wire mess. So we found the culprit of why the turn signals aren't working correctly or he's staying on all the way. There's nothing balancing them. There's no turn signal module in the back that's actually telling when it should stop, when it should be off. So it's being ran off the one relay off the control board in the front, which obviously we saw works if you hold down, but nothing to balance it. And I don't know why it was removed. I gotta go through all that wiring again, at least through the book, to figure out where or what was cut, because it's supposed to have a version of this sitting back there of the module. Now a lot of people don't care about turn signals. That's the big thing. A lot of Harley guys will just cut off, trim. I know, I do the same thing, I get it. I slim down everything, but in this case, I need a fairing with the rears. That's the whole part of this FXRT for it just to work. Doesn't mean I'm going to use them all the time, but it's supposed to work so that the whole part is unison. So I gotta go through all the whole wiring diagram, get that cut up. Once we're gone through there, we'll be moving along and get this thing squared away. So guys, if you have made it all the way through, I would greatly appreciate if you could hit the subscribe button, tap that like, press that notification, leave a comment below and tell me what you think. And for those that already subscribed, thank you. As always, stay free. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.